You're tuned in to Real Talk with Tamara, where conversations are real, voices are heard, and the real starts here. The real starts here. The real starts here. No filter, no fear. Truth in the mic, let the whole world hear. Stories unfold, voices sincere. Welcome to the place where the real starts here. From life and love to the latest news. Community voices, different views. Breaking it down so we all stay clear. Honest conversations live right here. Speak your truth, let it be known. This is the space where your voice has a home. No judgment here, just real and clear. Real talk with Tamara, the real starts here. Real talk with Tamara. Real people. Real stories. Real truth.
Good morning, you guys, and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay on this morning. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps to keep the video in the algorithm. Okay, so make sure you guys please like, share, subscribe, comment, and all of those great things. Okay, I want to talk about this morning. Yo Gotti has been funding wars in the background. Okay, he's been funding wars. I think Yo Gotti has been very I wouldn't say strategic, um, because he's been stupid with it, because it's been obvious, but he's been trying to he's been moving the pieces around on the chessboard, um, using people that he feels, he's been able to use people that's really not smart, okay, to try and take out his competition, okay, and it goes all the way back to um, Young Dolph. Okay. I think even I'll go as far back as 3 6 Mafia. 3 6 Mafia, I do believe that they were around first because Paul and all of them, Paul had been since the early 90s. Um, I think he's a little older than Gotti. I think Paul is over in his 50s. I think they're a little older than him, so they was definitely around before him. I think that machine was already too big, okay, for him to try and take down. Now he kind of used them, beefing with them to try and come up. But I think that machine was already too big for him to be trying to send hits to try and take down. Okay, so what he decided to do was try and use them, to for name recognition and all of that, right? Um, for a long time. I wouldn't say that he ruled the rap game in Memphis because there's so many talented rappers in Memphis. I was kind of shocked when Young Dolph unfortunately lost his life that you had people on the outside of Memphis saying that he was considered the king of Memphis. He was never considered the king of Memphis. And if people, you know, that had that really like him, because there are a lot of people that really like him. He's a talented artist. If they're going to be honest, they would tell the truth, right? But they're not going to do that, okay? They'll go along with that narrative. But the truth of the matter is, when Young Doll, I think around that time, Yo Gotti started having ideas of being bigger, okay, which is cool. Everybody wants to be bigger, but I think he was so ambitious, okay, that he just decided he'd start doing anything, right? Now he went and he got up under Jay Z. Now everybody knows that Jay Z is a business. I was reading, and I do believe that, and I do believe that that's what Yo Gotti and all the rest of them did, and which that's what Jay Z should do. Jay Z charged millions of dollars for people to be in pictures with him, to do promos with him, to act as if they are hanging out with him. Okay, when really it's just a promo. Okay, you take pictures with Jay-Z. Now you're official. Okay, he charged millions. I believe Yo Gotti was just that ambitious to do that. Okay, to take pictures, to be in pictures with Jay-Z and Puffy, and all of them. I think he went and signed with Rock Nation for a little while, and he may still be up under that because we do know that he was able, after Young Dolph was killed. That's really when he really started going up. Okay, my mind stays on that because he was still just really like a local joker. I mean, you have to be honest, right? Um, but after Young Dolph was killed, that's when he really started getting a lot of those big um, investments, right? Now, do I believe that the music industry was involved with what happened to Young Dolph? I don't know. Okay, I do know how slimy the industry is. I don't think they necessarily cared because you had a young man who was confident, had somewhat of an arrogance about him, as he should. When you're confident, um, you know, I don't think he was conceited. I think he was just confident. He had his own money. He had learned the game. He laid low and went to the people that was in the game and had the money to pay them to teach him the game, something that Yo Gotti didn't do because he was so ambitious. Okay, he was signing anything. That's something that Young Dolph did not do. Okay, and so I think once he saw that Young Dolph was here to stay, especially when he decided not to sign with him, when he decided that he was not going to get up under another person, he was going to be his own mogul. I think because of Yo Gotti's ambition, um, of having everybody in the South to sign up under him. Okay, I think that was his ambition, especially around the Memphis area, the surrounding areas, probably on down to Texas, okay, on down to Florida in the deep South. I think that that was the idea that he and his team had. Well, he was too stupid to realize that, hey, one person can't own everything. It's enough for everybody, right? And they say that they want to say, people want to insert Gucci into this situation and say that Gucci caused Dolph to be unalive. No, jealousy caused Young Dolph to be unalive. Young Dolph was not the first person that Yo Gotti had ever been into it with. He was just the first person that was really making traction, and he could walk it like he talk it, as far as like spending that money, and he really had it. Okay, and he was not owned by anybody, and I think that intimidated him, that he was kind of exposing this fake lifestyle that he was portraying to a lot of these young boys, young men that looked up to him. Okay, that he was able to trick into these 360 deals, right? I think that's what the record companies were using him for. Okay, he was the sample that they would send out there, that they really backed and owned, that could trick his community, because they always use a black face to keep the black people in place. They'll get a damn cuckabug head Sambo. Okay, and so with Young Dolph exposing that, I think that intimidated him, as well as the slave masters that have kept these black men and women enslaved in these contracts forever. I think it's a damn shame, instead of getting with him, they decided, well, Massa gonna fund me, so we gonna have to go kill him, instead of getting with him and helping to bring his people out of bondage, not just making them famous, but making them wealthy. Okay. Um, but then, he went and he signed Black Youngster. Okay, he signed Black Youngster, and Black, the rumor is Black Youngster was definitely signed with his heavy camp dudes to go at Dolph. And as soon as he signed him, that's exactly what started happening. That's immediately when the attempts on Young Dolph's life started happening, right? We see that Keon right now is in jail, okay, for an attempt on Young Dolph's life. Okay, he come from the Gotti background. He's one of Gotti's quote unquote executives, okay? I'm sure that they, that he's shown, Maybachs or whatever it is that he's gotten while he's in jail. So, they paid him to go do the time or to make the attempt. Then he was transferred to California. And anyways, and it was Keon, then Black Youngster. Y'all know the situation that happened in again in North Carolina where Young Dolph car was a van was shot up 100 times. They definitely didn't shoot up a van 100 times to try and play. They was hoping that they could take out somebody. They didn't know if Young Dolph Child was in the car, in the van, because he was very involved in his children's lives. They didn't know if nobody else's kids was in the van. They had a mission to. They was given a mission, and that was to kill him. Right, a black youngster tried. Keon and them tried, and then we had the situation that happened in California, where they actually shot him. Okay, that they probably thought he was, dead. Then that was Yo Gotti's people yet again. Um, but he was able to stumble into a store and ask them to get him help, and then he collapsed. Right, he survived that. And so each and every time that they tried to kill him, I mean, they just really played in the face of the government. Okay, that's why when people say he gonna get away, I don't think he gonna get away. Okay, um, you know, all of these people, each and every time there were attempts on his life. Okay, it always came from CMG camp. Now it's funny, it's kind of profound how Yo Gotti use the name Gotti. Okay, I guess he has a love for John Gotti. Okay, John Gotti was one of the ones. He was so messy with how he did things. He was one of the ones that helped to bring the mob down. Okay, because before John Gotti, the mob was really quiet and kind of slick and was able to go up under the radar. But John Gotti was so I guess you could say John Gotti is his daddy, his father or whatever. You know, and not in real life, but y'all know what I mean. Like father, like son. Um, and so the RICO Act was created because of the mob. Okay, and I think John Gotti played a really big role in that because of how flashy he was. I think that's something that Yo Gotti wants to put into the atmosphere. He wants people to believe that he's able to use that money that he's borrowed from Interscope, um, he's able to quiet people with his money. And he is the damn fools in the hoods that ain't never had nothing. But I think he wants for people to think his reach is all in government. But just like John Gotti's was for a while, because remember, when he became the Teflon Don and he kept getting off. Okay, it was because of intimidation and because they had plants within the jury. But remember, years later, the FBI was able to go back and identify those people, and they were indicted. Okay, on the jury, those ones that was on the jury that took money to acquit him. Okay, but what Yo Gotti has failed to understand is, even though John Gotti was an Italian, he still had white skin. Okay, we know Italians don't want to be black folks. Okay, um, Italians were not considered white people until I believe the 30s or 40s. Okay, because there was a slave port in Italy. That's why you see a lot of Italian women with them hips and they had that olive skin. Yeah, because their ancestors are black, but they don't want to let it touch them. Okay, but Yo Gotti, John Gotti and them still has white skin, and Yo Gotti failed. I don't know if he has failed to realize. He probably understands now. He's still a cuckabug kid. So a lot of what that white man got away with, he could never. Okay, which is why you see him constantly being exposed. If the elites had if the elites love him that much, they own the medias, they own everything. They would never allow a negative thing to ever touch him. Okay. That's why you see him overseas, okay, because he already know he ain't protected like that. Okay. So that's why he runs a lot. And so, that's why I can believe that he has been the one quietly funding wars. Okay. He's been quietly funding wars because he feels like he's playing chess with all the talent there is. Okay, you don't see him really signing a whole lot of people. You don't see him sign, other than, I think, what, Glorilla was the last person that he signed, and he using her as a damn workhorse. They raking her over the coals, okay, as far as them contracts and their money. But you don't really see a lot, him signing a lot of people, okay? And so, because it takes money to do that, right? It didn't hit the way he thought it was gonna hit when he killed Young Dolph. He couldn't contain his jealousy, and it has left a negative connotation attached to his name, okay? And so, um, I believe that why these damn fools in Memphis, want to be connected to him, I don't know. Okay. Because he is definitely the author of confusion. Okay. And so they so damn stupid. They don't understand that they're talented. Okay. There is a lot of cherry pickings around the Memphis area. Okay. And it's so much poverty that it's ridiculous. And so what they do is they go into the hoods, these young dudes that ain't had nothing. Unlike Young Dolph, he wasn't trying to liberate them financially. Okay, he dangled being famous in their face. You gonna be a big thing. He don't say a damn thing about being about no generational wealth, because as far as he concerned, that's for him and his masters that fund him in the background. Because you better know when I tell you, he ain't no free man like Young Dolph was. Okay, and so what he does is, if I believe he like he did straight drop, he make these young dudes believe that they're gonna be the next big thing on CMG, okay? And he gets them to go out, he gets them into it with other artists. I believe strategically that he has sat back and watched in Memphis that he sees that could be a threat to him. Okay. And Pooh Shiesty and them didn't play that right, because I believe Yo Gotti was playing chess the whole time. He's knocked out two motherfucking birds with one stone. Okay. Pooh Shiesty, it was Pooh Shiesty this and Pooh Shiesty that. And the reason that Pooh Shiesty, I believe, was flourishing, not just because of his talent, but because he was connected to Gucci. Gucci is still a bigger star than Gotti. Gotti has a negative connotation attached to his name of taking down another mogul for jealousy. Okay? That's what he's known for. So you dangle, they said something about $10 million, okay? Um, tell them 10, you're gonna sign for 10, $20 million. I guess the same way he tried to do Dolph, and Dolph already had money, he wasn't going for it. And that's all that they could see. They didn't think about nothing else, okay? When Pooh Shiesty, RDO or FDO, whatever, I even like the damn song, okay? And I ain't no big, no, I don't listen to no rap like that. But I even like the song, okay? He was slated to go far because of his connection, I believe, to Gucci Mane. And yeah, because of his connection to Gucci Mane. Now, I'm not saying that Gucci's innocent, he's done everything right, but business is business, okay? And I don't think that Pooh Shiesty, I think because he's still young and he's had bad advice from his damn daddy, okay? He got to be a damn fool too. You see, he was able to go and mess his life over with his daddy standing right there looking at him. That never should have happened. Okay. So when Pooh Shiesty was out, it was Pooh Shiesty this, Pooh Shiesty that. He was outshining everybody on CMG. Everybody. Okay. So he was still signed to Gucci, which means he was still got his opposition and competition. Right? He already knew Gucci wasn't gonna let him go. So if I can get him to crash out and maybe take out Gucci, that's his that's his opposition still. Just like he did straight dropping them with Dolph. And then he's still outshining my artist. Even though I want him on CMG, he ain't on CMG. He my competition and opposition. So I can kill two birds with one stone. If I can't get him over here, maybe I can get him out the way. And guess what? He got him to crash out and he out the way again. Because when it's all said and done, I don't think Pooh gonna get out too soon. I hope he does with a changed mindset, okay? Because I want to see the brother do well. But he was able to kill two birds with one. Well he didn't kill Gucci. Okay, let's just say that it didn't. He probably still kicking this at the damn. I thought they were gonna kill that nigga. Blah blah. You know that I think that would have because he's bloodthirsty. He's bloodthirsty and he's money hungry. Okay, and so that's why I believe that he is the author of confusion and has been secretly funding wars, getting these little dudes to go against each other and if they are competition, okay, if they're pressure and they ain't on his label. See, these little dudes don't know that when they say, "Oh, your guy didn't want me on his label." Well, you ain't on this label, so you still opposition and competition in his mind, okay? They have to understand that he thinks like a damn machine because he's a devil. And so I hate that Pooh Shiesty, who seemed like his dad can't think circles around a roach. He couldn't think circles around the damn roach. He fell for the banana in the tailpipe or however they say it, okay? And so, I think if these young men don't start to wise up, they're gonna mess around. And as far as a label that's got a machine behind them in the South, he thinks he thinks it's just gonna be CMG because he's doing it another way now. I don't think he told him to go over there and do that, but I believe he created an energy because he is. That's how they say that's how he is. He like to send people out. He knows he's gonna be very careful about how he try to get rid of his competition now. He know these little dudes now are crash outs like Shiesty. They are crash outs. So if he could create an energy and say the right things, and the right thing is a whole lot of money. That's it. That's all it takes. They can't think past money. It's a damn shame that these folks have made money a god. Okay? That's the reason why God is allowing them to crash out. Because God says there should be no other gods before me. And they have flat out made money that they probably ain't gonna never get. Just the promise of it. A God. And that damn fool knows that because he grew up in these hoods, so he know how these little young dudes think because he was once one of them. That's why he signed all them badass deals. Okay, you would think that he would have the mindset, dog. They effed over me, and I don't want to see. I don't want to just give him fame. I want to give him generational wealth. Because contrary to popular belief, them dudes up under him ain't rich. I believe Finesse two times. Moneybag Yo got to put out an album now because Finesse two times ain't putting out none no more. They was eating off of the fat of his lamb. A lot of that. They put him in a badass contract, and before I believe he's saying before I let them eat off me like that, I'll become a damn gamer. He sits on. He done got him a YouTube page now. I ain't mad at Finesse, and now Moneybag ass is having to put out a damn album that probably ain't gonna go nowhere. Okay, he talented. Moneybag is talented, but my point is these are the politics, and he's slick too. Now he finding wars because let me tell you something. When Young Dolph was let me just say this: Moneybag have not passed the smell test, okay? And I'm gonna say this, and I don't give a damn about what nobody say, cause I know if you motherfuckers think that shit is over with Young Dolph, you got another thing coming, okay? I believe it's wishful thinking, it's hopeful thinking. Quit know it. Quit know better. He'll put out energy in the atmosphere. It's over. He ain't no damn fool. I watch Quit. I know he ain't no damn fool. But as far as anybody else, it's wishful thinking if you think that it's over. Okay? It just don't work like that. It's too many major components that has happened as it relates to this for it to be over. Okay? And Yo Gotti sits at the very root of this. The founder of gang wars. He's been a founder of wars in Memphis, okay? He is a master manipulator and he is the root of all evil, okay? So I hope these young men wise up. I hope they wise up, get their life right, okay? I hate Pooh Shiesty did this to himself. The best thing that they could have did was not shoot Gucci, okay? I bet when Yo Gotti got word back that Gucci was still alive, I bet he called Pooh Shiesty in his mind all kinds of stupid MFs. He thought that Pooh Shiesty was going to go on and totally crash out like Straight Drop did. Y'all notice the two are the same. They told Straight Drop he was going to be the next big thing on CMG. They told Pooh Shiesty, they put money on the table, told him the exact same thing. I mean, his tactics are the same. And I can't understand how an old ass nigga like um, mob boss would fall for something like that or allow his son to be tricked into something like that. Now his son ain't Yo Gotti's competition no more. Okay. Because understand, he still was not signed to CMG. He was trying to get him over there. And until he was signed to CMG, he was still competition and opposition. These damn fools ain't in the street. Y'all mean to tell me they quick to tell me you ain't in the street, but y'all let a girl that ain't in the street think circles around y'all? I'm very methodical. I can see it, and y'all damn fools that's been in the street all your life can't. Okay. Anyways, you guys, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I can go on and on, but I got to get ready for work. Guys, I got a job. I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App.
You're tuned in to Real Talk with Tamara, where conversations are real, voices are heard, and the real stars here. The real stars here. No filter, no fear. Truth in the mic, let the whole world hear. Stories unfold, voices sincere. Welcome to the place where the real starts here. From life and love to the latest news, community voices, different views, breaking it down so we all stay clear. Honest conversations live right here. Speak your truth, let it be known. This is the space where your voice has a home. No judgment here, just real and clear. Real talk with Tamara, the real starts here. Real talk with Tamara. Real people, real stories, real truth.